several people were trapped. Kind of makes you think Dad's responsible for a lot. But he served as a lieutenant, he served as a house captain, but that's what he loved. He loved being in that support function at his age, still taking care of his guys. And up until 2002, he was still putting in 14 hours a week at the compressor room. Loving every minute of it. He wouldn't trade it for the world. Just some random facts and some random quotes of that which is Pop. No particular order, bear with me. Dad was a Kentucky colonel. Dad was a member of the Teamsters. Dad hated unions. So that made perfect sense. Biggest thing we ever heard growing up, if you're 20 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. If we weren't someplace 30 minutes ahead of when we were supposed to be there, oh, Lord, the wrath of God. Jeff said one of his favorite memories of Pop was Pop's first words. He walked in on his first date with Maggie, and Mom said, "Dad, come in here." And Dad, expletive, "I'll be there in a minute." He walks in, he had stained pants, stained shirt, a couple days growth of beard. Jeff looked at him and goes, "Oh my God, what am I getting into?" Well, I was excited because I was getting a brother, because I'd been stuck with these two for years. And when Jeff proposed, Dad and I were having lunch, and I looked at Dad and I said, "So Dad, tell me, you think Jeff's dumb or desperate?" And with a mouthful of a Whopper, he goes, "Both." That was the last we ever spoke of it. Now, we went to Waffle House one night, and the waitress would not refill Dad's water. Repeated attempts, she would not refill the water. Dad's like, "Had enough." So he looked at me and he goes, "Follow my lead." Always a bad thing to say. He gets down on the floor, cup in hand, and he starts crawling across the floor. "All day I faced the barren waste without the taste of water." And then I would go, "Water." We got a pitcher of water. And we got a pitcher of water every time we went in after that. Now we went to the Silver Fountain one day after church. Notice a lot of our stuff revolves around food. Silver Fountain was kind of a higher-end restaurant, and Dad was wearing a stylish 1974 issue powder blue two-piece leisure suit. He was also sporting underneath a pair of powder blue long john thermal underwear that we had gotten him for Christmas. Well, the waitress comes up and says, "Oh, isn't your suit cute?" Dad's like, "You think this is cute? You ought to see my drawers." And he stood up and he dropped his pants in the middle of the Silver Fountain restaurant at Sunday lunch to show everybody his powder blue long johns. It's a wonder my mother did not divorce him. Now, when he got back from the war, Aunt Karen had already got back, and she told my dad, "I'm getting married." He's like, "Getting married to what?" She goes, "Well, I met him in the Army." He goes, "Was he in the war?" She goes, "Yeah, he was in the Army Air Corps." Dad laughed. He's like, "So what did he do in the Army Air Corps?" And she goes, "He's a baker." Well, Dad didn't more than laugh at that time. He's like, "This guy is not good enough for my sister. I'm going to go fix this." So he said he got out his black shoes and he polished them up real nice. He got his darkest pair of jeans. He got his cleanest white t-shirt, put his cigarettes in the sleeve, rolled it up, greased his hair back, got his little spit curl going in there. He walked into that bakery, lit his cigarette, said, "I want to see Gus." They said, "All right, he's down the basement. He'll be right up." Dad walks over to the basement, leans up in that door well. He goes, all of a sudden he sees this little white beanie cap. And then he sees 2 40-pound bags of flour. And then he sees shoulders. And then he sees 2 40-pound bags of flour under each arm. And then this guy clears the top step at 6'4", 240 pounds with a 32-inch waist, set all the bags of flour down. I said, "I'm Gus. What do you want?" Dad's like, "I'm going to be your brother-in-law." We had a cat growing up. Big, beautiful, blue, Russian blue male cat named Tinkerbell. Dad, Why is our boy cat named Tinkerbell? Answer, sisters. On Saturday, we're sitting outside. I'm watching Dad change oil. And this is a guy put on a white t-shirt, changed 3 cars worth of oil, never get a drop on him, and not have any dirt on his back from laying in the driveway for 3 hours. A couple of Jehovah's Witnesses come up and they start talking to me about salvation. Well, we were a faith-based family. I've been raised in the church. So I started talking about Jesus loves me, this I know, and now I got their attention. But I don't know enough about Jesus. So this guy says, well, I want to give you this pamphlet, young man. I said, well, you got to ask my daddy for that. And my dad comes out from under the car, and he is covered in oil from his chin to his belt buckle. And I was like, I don't know what's happening, but this ain't good. And he walks up and he sticks his hand out to shake the Jehovah's Witness' hand. He looks at it and he just looks at Dad and says, that's all right, in my religion, we hug people. We never had another Jehovah's Witness. Mom got laid up from foot surgery right before school started. Came time to go back school shopping. Mom couldn't go, so she told Dad, you got to do this. Dad's like, yeah, Iwo Jima was easier than this. So we went to Bargain Barn. We get her jeans. Well, on the way out the door, let me take that back. Mom tells, Susie needs a bra. The look on my dad's face was like, Lord, kill me now. So we get to Bargain Barn, we get our jeans, we get our tennis shoes, we get some socks, and he walks up real quietly to this clerk and he goes, I need to get her a bra. She goes, what size? And the look on Dad's face was like, size? And he looks at Susie and he looks at the clerk and goes, looks like 2 fried eggs on a piece of wet cardboard. Hell, I don't know, get her a bra. Now later that week, Dad decided he's going to make us homemade dinner. We were all excited until we sat down. And out comes this big pot, and in goes the ladle. And out comes this ugly, frothy, chunky, pink, God knows what, in our bowl. And it's like, Dad, what's this? He goes, tomato soup. Tomato soup? It's not what Mom makes. He'd taken 2 quarts of homegrown tomatoes, a half a gallon of milk, poured it in a pot, brought it to a boil, put a little pepper on it, and served it to us. The 3 of us looked at each other and said, yeah, we'll go to bed hungry. A few years ago, Dad had to go in to get a kidney removed. He was a little concerned. So he transferred power of attorney to me. And he said, you know, anything happens, told the doctor you talk to him. So we're sitting in the waiting room and this has just started. The doctor comes out and goes, Mr. Crouch? We all kind of like, yeah. He goes, I need you to come with me. And I'm like, what did he do? I walk in and there lays my dad on a gurney. His t-shirt is off. And on this side, in big red letters, stay out, do not cut here. On this side, a big black X, right here, stupid. The doctor looked at me and he goes, never, ever have I seen that in my life, but I like it. Susie was driving the ambulance one night. It was just a pretty bad wreck. Dad was first on the scene. Susie had hit her head, was bleeding pretty bad. That explains a lot. So Dad found a roll of gauze, and he's wrapping Susie's head. He gets it wrapped. He's got the bleeding slowed down, and he can't find any tape. And I mean, thinking back, I'm like, Dad, it's an ambulance. There's tape. But being the resourceful man that he was, he found a roll of fluorescent orange 911 phone stickers. Not 1, not 2, but about 2 dozen orange stickers around Susie's head when she goes in the ER with her bandage. Doctor was very fascinated with that. Now, I told you Dad was a good Marine. He had his tattoos. One Sunday, hotter than blue blazes at North Liberty, preacher says, deacons, it's too hot, air conditioner's not working, you don't have to wear your suit coats. So on Dad's arm, he had a nice little lady friend. Said lady friend didn't really go to Bargain Barn with us and buy her clothes. So Dad's got the communion wafers, and he walks up to the pew, and he does this, and little Miss Markham, petite, older, pristine woman, looks down and goes, "Oh my God!" Dad looks down and sees his girlfriend and goes, "Ah!" Slaps his arm, communion wafers to the right, tray to the left, and the preacher gets up and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to North Liberty Christian Church, where even the deacons are sinners." Now, for our time at North Liberty, Dad was the guy that took care of the baptistry. And we're there one Saturday where he's working on the baptistry, and we had a minister coming in that Sunday to do a trial sermon. He was going to be the associate minister. So Dad tells me to be real quiet, and Art gets up to the podium, and he's got his stuff out, and he's starting to practice his sermon. And from the baptistry bowels, my dad goes, "Nicely done, Art." And it's quiet. And Art goes, "Who's there?" And my dad goes, "I'm Jesus Christ." And Art left. He had a saying he used with us kids a lot: "Don't tell your mother." He took Maggie to John's Famous Stews when she was 17 in the back door. Don't tell your mother. He took Susie to the Checkered Flag in the back door, had dinner. Don't tell your mother. He took me to the Roost, to the softball game, and then inside for a beer. I was 16. And he looked at me and goes, "Don't you dare tell your mother." Now, when I came home from college one day, feeling a little froggy, and Dad was laying on the couch, and I jumped on Dad's chest and I said, "How you doing, you rotten little son of a gun?" When I regained consciousness, I was under the dining room table. And then Terry was 15 years old. We were out at Phyllis's farm. And my dad had tipped me off for the last time. I was done. I was going to drown. I threw him over my shoulder, and I headed down to the pond. And without missing a beat, I got the worst atomic wedgie I'd ever had. He fought to win. He fought to win. And with that, I asked him one day, I said, "Dad, what's your favorite medal?" Well, his generation of Marines, you didn't talk about medals, awards, battles. And he goes, "My favorite medal?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "There's only one medal on my chest that means anything." I said, "Really? What's that?" He goes, "The World War II Victory Medal, because that's why we went." He goes, "We went to win, and we did." It's like, wow. All the personal accolades he got, all the personal awards he got, didn't mean a thing to him. It was about the mission. Stayed with me through all of my adulthood. Now, in the blizzard of '78, my father, the ever brilliant entrepreneur, "We can't wait for a snowplow. We got 2 shovels and a deposit tractor end on this station wagon. Let's get going, kids." So we shoveled the entire length of Danbury Drive to US 40 before the snowplows ever made it that far west. Well, that spring, he's like, "You kids did so good, we're going to put in a new driveway." Not a straight line driveway. No, one that goes around the yard to the garage. So yeah, we were free labor. We knew it. You know, he loved NASCAR. He loved euchre. He was a genius at euchre. He loved animals. We had dogs, cats, a one-legged duck named Herkimer, you name it. If it showed up at our house, it had a place to stay. Now, this is a man that had his name on 8 patents for bearings for helicopters with FMC Corporation. This is a man that could take a piece of steel and grind it to within 1/1000th of an inch on a micrometer. This is a man that did not know how to operate his remote. And one of the things he used to do to torment me when I was in college, I'd periodically get a random envelope.